Yo, 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 it's Lou and Dre. Remember when we did that thing with Blab a long time ago? Holy shit.
Dude, I saw one of the images in my old hard drive and I got a little like verklempt for
Oh,
one second. I was like, "Oh."
we were way ahead of our
That
time.
was a great dynamic between you and I. Like
Yes.
just this dynamic is fantastic. And some of the guests, like you should go back and watch it, like especially the Sue Zimmerman episode. You should
Scared
watch that
people.
again, just for
Yeah,
a good laugh.
we definitely scared some people. So anyway, this is the video bunch. I'm here with my longtime friend, Dre Beltrami, who is the only returning star of the video bunch. I try to mix it up every year, but Dre is the
You can't get rid of me.
constant.
Stage 10
Right.
clinger.
Constant thorn in my side. Not really. She's brilliant branding, and one of these days in the not too distant future, I'm going to say fix my brand. But that's what you do, right? You do
Yeah.
branding and
Yep.
cool.
All
So,
about branding for companies of one. Those of us that prefer to be on our own. We do not
right,
want an agency or all that bullshit.
hmm right. So tell folks the kinds of stuff that you do before we jump into all our video fun. You do everything from, like a lot of people think like, oh, branding, I need a new logo. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And my eyes cannot roll back far enough anymore for that response. They literally just can't go any far back.
hmm
Um, Branding is really about understanding the experience that you're providing. It's understanding who you are. And I think that we can all agree at this point in society, the internet, our businesses, is that most of us have lost ourselves in just a bunch of bright lights and a bunch of tactics and bullshit and um we're pigeonholed by these corporate jobs and things that we've had in what I call past lives. Because
Yeah.
most of us are looking for that second stage. We're looking for, like, okay, I'm done with this. I'm done with the path that was set forth for me. And now
Right.
I want to start creating my own dreams. And I want to actually enjoy my family instead of working all day and commuting all evening and morning, right? None of us want to do that anymore.
It is.
So
It is the
I
experience. So.
it is. It is. So it's like, what are you really about? Okay, you do funnels. Okay, you do videos. I do branding. But like, who are we as human beings?
Mhm.
And that's so important for us as company of ones. I think that
Yeah,
too often we're trying to mirror Apple, right? How many
right.
times is the comparison to what Steve Jobs did?
Mhm.
I am so sorry to burst your bubble, but you're not Steve Jobs, and we're not building Apple. So
Mhm.
it's really important that we understand who we are and what we are bringing. And then the second piece is understanding who we help. And that's
Right.
really what branding is. It's the experience. Who are you? What are you bringing to the table? And who are you helping? Which is the second piece that I think companies of one, or solopreneurs, as I like to call them, get it wrong, right?
Yeah.
Because we can help everybody in a big theory, in that big lofty world we live in of the internet. You can help anyone,
Mhm.
but you're not meant for anyone, and you should know that by now at your
Yeah.
age. You
And
should
I like
know that you're only for a certain set of people.
yes, like, Trey's not for everybody, Lou's not for
No,
everybody. If you
no. I always
if
say,
you
like,
don't
we're
like
niche in
F-bombs, then
ourselves.
if you don't
Yeah,
like the occasional F-bomb, you're not gonna like working with either of us.
you're definitely not gonna like it. If you don't like sarcasm, if you don't like shenanigans and appropriateness,
Mhm.
weird facial contortions, we're not gonna get along very well.
Yeah, well, on your little, video bunch image, you've got a bottle of something or other. God only knows what it is, but
Champagne.
oh, okay, perfect.
You always got
So
mimosas. I mean, come on, mimosas should be like an extra food group.
yeah, yes. It's in the food pyramid somewhere. So, you
Definitely.
talk about branding. One of the interesting things that I noticed, I was doing a lot of stuff about branding and loyalty earlier in the year when I was working on a keynote thing. And I saw a statistic that said that 77% of brands could disappear tomorrow and no one would give a rat's ass. I mean, they'd just go away. So what the hell happened to like brand loyalty? Is that just a thing of the past?
No, it's called connection, and none of us are building it anymore. It's
Right,
just being connected, it's being bonded, it's feeling like that person understands you, it feels like you're kind of part of, that those are your people.
right.
But we're not doing that anymore. We're just going, this is our expertise, this
Mhm.
is our service, and this is our checkout page. So
Right.
nobody gives a fuck.
Mhm.
Nobody gives a fuck anymore. When you talk about referrals, like I really, 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 really have built my business on referrals,
Yeah.
not social media. I know, super shocking. But it's because connection. It's because, I mean, think about it. We're in such a world of referrals right now, right? You want to go online and type in like I need a funnel, right? And then there's 700,000 people who can build you a pretty funnel, a high converting funnel, a scalable funnel, a Facebook ads funnel. It's
Mhm.
like, who are you as a human being? Why are you a funnel expert? Like, who are you beyond your job? It's just connection. Brand loyalty is connection. Are people actually connected to you as a human being? The weirdo Lou? If they are, then they have loyalty for you.
Yeah,
If they just buy your service because you were the lowest price or because you were the one that their coach suggested, there's not a connection. And
right.
that's what I mean by the experience. Connection branding is just the experience, and that experience is what people connect to.
Hmm.
I hear so many, like, for Christmas, I had so many mom friends telling me that they weren't buying presents this year, that everybody was doing experiences. So,
Yeah.
like, they were going to take their kid to Disneyland, or they were going to take them to Monterey Bay Aquarium, or they were going to take them up skiing. It's experience, it's what we remember, it's what we connect to. That's what branding is. It's really simple. I know there's 1,000 definitions a minute created for what is a brand, but
Hmm.
it's really just the experience. And why do you give a fuck about branding? Because that's how it's the fundamentals of branding are how you're going to make that connection and get
Yeah.
people to genuinely give a shit about you.
And at the end of the day, people want to work with somebody that they like, really, right?
And somebody who they think understands them, like somebody who gets me. Like if
Yeah.
I got on a call with a coach, which I have before, who just wants to change me, like, well, you shouldn't use that language. That's not very ladylike. The moment you tell me something's not ladylike, I want to cut you. Okay.
Uh-huh.
You're not my people. Like, how dare you tell me that?
Right.
So it's very much comes down to the connection because that means that they think they're kind of like you or they admire you or they think that you understand them. You have things in common. You have circumstances and situational things that that other person can relate to.
Yeah, and it doesn't even have to be big things because, like, when I find somebody, like, I have two rescue pugs. When I find somebody else that has pugs, it's like boom, where there's the
Mhm.
connection. Where
Yeah, and you're a great example of that because Rocco is like a celebrity on his own. He's probably more
he
popular and probably has
gets
more
more views
loyalty
than
than
I
you
do.
do.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah,
Like so.
exactly. And it's so simple, but like who doesn't know who knows Lou and doesn't know Rocco? I mean, it's like he's become part of your brand
Yeah.
because it is that point of like, I'm just a human being who's obsessed with my fucking puck. Right? Like you've been that Lou for years. We've all known Rocco.
Oh
And
yeah.
so it goes to that same point of like it can be the littlest thing. It can be like I'm a single mom. I have a mom of littles, right? Like we could be so fundamentally, culturally, geographically, generationally different, but like maybe we have little kids.
Right.
Maybe we live rurally. I can't tell you how many people I've connected with now that I talk about how I moved to buttfuck nowhere. And people are like, "How do you do it in buttfuck nowhere when you came from the Bay Area, the
Yeah.
Silicon Valley,
Oh my.
out to buttfuck nowhere?" I mean, a lot of people connected with that, and I was like, "I want to move to buttfuck nowhere and run my business. How are you doing it?"
Yeah, that's awesome. Because yeah, if you have a laptop and internet, you can be pretty much wherever you want. So that's kind of cool.
Exactly.
So this is a video summit. So tell me, and I know I'm kind of putting you on the spot here, but like in terms of using video, how can you leverage that to be more, do more branding?
Look, here's the thing. I mean, it's really simple. We've all known this. Video scares the shit out of us, but it's like this is how you convey who you are. This is
Right.
like if we did this in writing form, not as many people would understand if they loved or hated us,
Hmm.
right? They're gonna see my face contorting, they're gonna see my hands all over the place,
Hmm.
they're gonna see us making faces. It just gives you a bigger window into who that person is because you can't really be too fake on video, which is what scares us
Yeah.
about video.
Right.
We can't really not be us. It's kind of impossible to not be you and all your fucking weirdness on a video. But
Yeah.
that's actually the bonus of it is that we can see your idiosyncrasies, we can see your mannerisms, we can hear your tone.
Hmm.
And here's the other thing is like, I don't do as much video as you do when I really should. But I can't tell you how many times I hear people say, I can hear your voice in your writing, because I do a lot of writing. I am a writer, which is very hard for me to admit, but
Yeah.
I am a heavy writer. But I do it because I do so many lessons and happy hours and things where people see me on video. And
Yeah.
now they can hear when I'm writing, and I have a very specific, excuse me, writing style. They
Right.
can hear that crazy, they can hear like, "Oh, she just went on a tangent. Oh, she just had an inner thought that she had to share. Oh, she has this. Oh, she made this mannerism." And so it's just quicker. I can make a 1-minute video and you can feel like you know me more than if I wrote 7,000 word article.
Right. But you also do a good job in staying consistent with your brand across wherever. Because like when I see your writing, you're right. It's like, okay, I know there's probably going to be a few naughty words in there and stuff. But a
Yeah.
lot of people, when it comes to video, they may have a brand, they may have sort of a voice, but then all of a sudden they go on video and it's totally different. So what the
Just
hell?
takes practice. It
Mhm.
takes practice. So many of us, like I said at the beginning, are damaged from corporate. We were damaged from shitty people in our life telling us that we're never going to be able to have the dream that we have, which is be this entrepreneur and this like run our own shit. And we've had so many people throughout our lives. So I was like, no, you can't do that. Go to college, go get a job. So we're just buried under a lot of permission slips that we didn't fucking ask for, that we didn't want to sign.
Mhm.
And then we get on video, and like I said, it's so hard to not be you that it's really scary to be judged and really scary to like let people see who you are instead of hide behind words where it's easier. So
Right.
it really does take practice. I mean, we talked about Blab. That was what, 5, 6
At
years ago?
least.
That was,
Yeah.
yeah. And, oh my god, I was still new then. I mean, part of it was, like, so awkward because I wasn't on video as much. So, to compare us, which you're like, fuck, 30 years of video, I mean, but to compare us and our comfort level, I sure as hell wasn't comfortable.
Mhm.
Uh, I mean, we always talk about that story about Creative Live. I mean,
Oh yeah.
I'd never been on video at that point. That is how we met. I
Yep.
always share the story because Lou really was a poignant part of my journey to become a solopreneur. But we met before I had ever launched my business. I went to a Creative Live in San Francisco. He was the expert hosting the whole weekend on video. I was fucking terrified of
Three
video.
days.
Terrified. It was 3 days. The first 2 days, you never heard my voice. I never
Oh,
raised my hand. I tried to be as invisible as humanly possible in that fucking audience. And there was only like what, like 10 of us?
yeah. Like who's that tall, quiet chick?
Mm-mm. And I was like,
Quiet?
I would talk to you a little bit at lunch. And then the third day, they had wine. First of all, they had wine.
Oh, that might have helped a little bit.
Oh, that helped. That's my love language.
But I also like I ran out of content, so then I like went to the audience and I'm like, "Well, Dre, what do you think?"
Yeah,
All
you
of a sudden,
totally did.
you're on camera. They turn the camera around to the audience, and I'm like, "Oh, sorry, but
Yeah, and then there was that moment for me, I was like, "Holy oh my god," I had ass sweats, I had flop sweat, I had mustache sweat, I was, like, so fucking nervous, I was like, "Oh my god," and then the question I still remember this, the question was, if you were gonna start a web show, what would it be? Like, what would be your show? And you were talking about the same kind of thing, like, how would it be different? Not just talk, like, what would your spiel be? Like, what would your thing be? And I
Mhm.
was nervous as fuck, and I was like, I would make a booze show. I would just drink a lot of shit
Yeah,
and talk about business and talk about branding. And then you were like, that's so cool. That's so cool. Like you were hypey and positive about it. But then the segment ended and we were going to go to lunch.
yeah,
The cameramen came up to me, the producers of the show came up to me and they were like, make
yeah,
the fucking show,
yeah.
make it. We would watch it in a heartbeat. You're hilarious. And it was so amazing to see me put myself out there nervous as fuck and see the response. And that's another thing of video is like, of course we get hate, and of course we get people who say we're bad, our teeth are wrong, you stutter too much, your audio sucks, your background looks like shit, whatever. But it's the fuck those people. Fuck those people. Who
Mhm.
gives a shit? But the people who are like, "Oh my god, it's so great to see this," or "Oh my god, I love seeing your mom walk in the background and you not even give a shit. I love seeing you do this. I love that you don't mind that you don't wear makeup. Like I love that you just have no shame that you use a filter and you never put makeup on." Like whatever it is, somebody out there is gonna be so appreciative that you showed up as you. Because you
Yeah.
are weird, you are different, you are unique.
Mhm.
And we want to see that. We want to see someone that's not perfect. We want to see someone that looks kind of messy and fucked up and
Yeah,
imperfect as we are. And I think that that's one of the greatest things that came out of the pandemic is that we all kind of let that video perfection go.
yeah.
And
We had no
it's
choice.
yeah, I mean, everybody had to get on a Zoom and
Mhm.
nobody had time to put on makeup.
Hmm.
And so, part of that, I think that we need to get past that perfectionism part.
Yeah, definitely. And I think the other thing too is like, because Zoom has sort of lowered the bar, not in a bad way, as
Hmm.
we call it, to do
Yeah.
it. There may be a couple times when it's like, all right, maybe I should actually put a nice sweater on or something because I'm doing a homepage video. But 99% of the time, it's just show up and go. Right.
Yeah. That's really what people, honestly, right now, in this day and age, that's what people want. People don't want high production videos. And you're the video guy. People don't want high production videos. They want long form videos. They don't want, it to have all the bells and whistles. It's like, pick your phone up,
Hmm.
press go, record for 60 seconds, and share. Just share. Just
Hmm.
share. And also know that you're not going to go viral. Can we just talk about that for a second? That you're not going to go viral. Can we just stop trying to go viral? Just show up and fucking share.
Yeah. Well, that's like, everybody would always ask me, how do you make a viral video? I'm like, dude, if I knew how to
Yeah.
make a viral video, I would be doing it. But it's like catching lightning in a bottle.
Hmm.
And then the things that you don't think are going to take off, like take off. Like, when I start to embrace my Italianness and now I'm doing like a Godfather podcast, I'm like, oh, that's what everybody reacts to, not the boring 5 video tips.
Yeah. Well, you've always said that, like, your funny, fucked up videos where you're like doing characters and stuff
Yeah.
always get more views than like,
Oh,
here
yeah.
are 5 video tips. And it's the same thing when I am just sharing either like a random rant
Hmm.
or like an unpopular, have lots of them, unpopular opinions are like, hey guys, I know everybody on the fucking planet likes this, but I think it's bullshit.
Hmm.
That's the stuff. When I'm like, when I spent 2 weeks, like, fine tuning a lesson, that's not what goes viral. It's like some random moment that I had no intention of doing anything. And it's like, people loved it. So you've
Yeah.
got to just show up. I think you can admit this too. Video is probably the hardest thing for us solos and
Hmm.
like us new business is it's intense. It feels like you're just naked, just sitting on your webcam. It feels so exposed and so vulnerable. And there's so many jerk offs in the fucking world that it is hard. It is so hard to show up and be confident, even though people hate you.
Well,
It's
don't
really,
worry, because like once you have haters, that's when you're actually making progress. So
it's so true. If nobody is pushing back on you, you haven't reached people, to be
yeah.
honest. Like you have to have people arguing with you and second guessing you and all of that stuff because that means that people are listening.
Hmm. Yeah.
I think the biggest skill really is to just not to focus on if there are 10 people that hate you and one person that like even said like such a good tip or like thank you for like any focus on the one person, don't
Yeah.
focus on the 10 assholes. I think
Mhm.
that's where we are in mental health in this world. It's
Oh
like
my
let's just
God.
focus on the good,
Yeah.
the rest silence that bullshit.
Yeah. Or as my grandfather used to say, fuck them if they can't take a joke. So,
Yeah, I just say adios motherfucker.
yeah. So, you have a kind of an interesting, unique membership thing. Can you just talk about that for a sec? Because I may have to copy that.
Yes,
Well, I mean,
thank
you've got
you.
your own kind of brand on it, but you
Yeah.
definitely have a different take on that kind of a thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's been an evolution, and I have for 7 years almost exclusively, I mean, a couple of digital products here and there, but I've almost exclusively done one-on-one work.
Hmm.
And as most service providers know, you're in a place where you're like, please no, please no. And I for years and years and years and years and years since the Google Plus days where you and I met,
Plus, oh my God. Yeah.
I know. That's a blast from the past. I wanted a branding bar, and I've known that. I mean, this goes back to even creative life. My thing is booze. My thing is always wrapping everything in like a fun happy hour vibe.
Yeah.
And I knew for so many years that this would really be something very unique and cool to my industry, which is solopreneurs, companies of one. I
Yeah.
knew people would love this opposed to like some dry academic kind of course and program and shit.
Hmm.
Um, and I just never did it. I just was too scared. I was afraid, and it's a big undertaking. But last year I had an existential crisis that lasted about 18 months. And I finally just decided that I wanted to follow my dream. And my
Hmm.
dream was launching that branding bar.
Yeah.
So for probably 6 months, stopped taking one-on-one work and
Wow.
just put my head down so that I could map out the whole thing.
Hmm.
and decided to really just do it grassroots. So
Yeah.
it's a digital branding bar, and I
Hmm.
call it 7 stories, because there's a different story for every angle of branding. So those are who are you, or who you are,
Hmm.
how you act, who you help, how you talk, or what you say and how you say it,
Hmm.
um, what you sell,
Hmm.
and where people are going to find you, where and how people are going to find you.
Right.
If you figure out all that, you have loyalty, you have recognizability, you have all of these buzz things that are typically talked about for branding. So it's called brandishing you. And it really is for companies of one to figure out what the right business is for you.
Hmm.
From positioning to who's the right people, right? Who's the right customer? Who is truly your dream client, which I call kindred, because
Yeah.
they're a different level than just a customer who's willing to pay you. This is where we start talking about loyalty.
Yeah.
And I know a thing or two about that. I have people that are fucking diehards. And it's because I know, and this is what I teach, how to lean into what makes you lovable and relatable and aspirational, and also how to double down into what makes people hate you, not stand you, know immediately that they don't like you, so
Hmm.
that you can cut out the bullshit and truly build a business that brings in reliable income.
Yeah.
So the branding bar is really about for companies of one who want a brand that is truly relevant.
Hmm.
That's big time, relevant,
Right.
uh, lovable, and lucrative. And I
Hmm.
think that's what all of us want. We want to be relevant. We want to be out there. We want to have a message that's being heard and listened to and acted on.
Hmm.
We want to be loved. We want to find our people. We want to enjoy what we're doing. We don't want to get burned out or feel like our soul's being sucked dry for a fucking dollar.
Hmm.
And we want to make money that we can count on, that our families can count on, that we can retire significant others, that we can travel, and that we are not stuck in this hustle mode of 24/7 because we're self-employed and the
Yeah.
business never stops.
Hmm.
I really flip a lot of shit on its head, and that's how I've gotten where I've gotten. And I just thought, you know what, it's time to step away from the really hands-on, high-ticket, one-on-one work
Hmm.
and get in the trenches and help these people who don't have the business to be able to invest in what I was doing before.
Yeah.
Because I truly, truly believe in this. This really is. It's not a bullshit message. I want everyday motherfuckers like me who want their business on their own. They're not looking for an agency. They have a family and they want to live a fun, free life.
Hmm.
And those are my people. So I go into every idiosyncrasy
Hmm.
of figuring out how to brand you. So brandishing you. 7 story digital branding bar, still building it out.
Hmm.
So the first 3 floors right now are done. Who are you? How do you act? And who do you help?
Hmm.
All jam packed with lessons straight out of my battle tested system. I've been working with companies of one for 8 years.
Yeah.
Uh, and so
And it's
it's
fun. It's fun. It's creative. It's not the usual dry academic
wow.
crap. So,
No, no, it's really, and it's meant to be set up as a branding bar. It's meant to feel like the happy hour vibe, the
mhm.
lessons. Each floor is named